Hey guys, it's me S with TaylorofAllTrades.com and Chevet Decor Boutique. Tonight we're going to be talking about Deco Foil. And Deco Foil is a great product for paper crafters because it's a really neat and inexpensive way to embellish your final product in a way that's just super classy and elegant. So tonight I'm just going to be showing you one method to use Deco Foil. There are many different methods. This one just so happens to be my favorite. I think it's the most cost effective, and it's also the cleanest and the easiest. And I feel like the final product is really consistent when I use this method. So that's why I like it so much. But like I said, you can use other methods. Tonight we're going to be using a few different products. The first one is, of course, Deco Foil. Comes in two different types of packaging. The first one is the 20-piece flat sheet package with the 6-inch by 12-inch paper, and then the other type of packaging is the tube that comes with 5 sheets. It's also 6-inch by 12-inch, but the neat thing about this is that it's really compact, so I can use this, I can just keep this in my toolbox here on my crafting desk and then grab it out whenever I need it. The neat thing about it, and the important thing about it, is that it keeps your foil protected. The Deco Foil sheets are really thin, and they're very much like Mylar. And so if you've ever seen a kid get his or her hands on a Mylar balloon, deflate it, and play with it, you'll see pretty quickly that those balloons turn into a hot mess in a hot second. And so they just get really crinkly and wrinkly, and the foil starts to tear in places. That's the same thing that will happen to your Deco Foil if you don't protect it. So that's why I like the tubes. We will also be using the Zig Two-Way Glue Pen, and you can think of this pen the same way that you think of double-sided tape. So it allows you to adhere to 2 surfaces at once. That's why it's called the Two-Way Glue Pen. And the nice thing about this is that you can personalize with your foil, which is kind of unique to this method, and then one other one that's similar when you use a toner pen. We won't get into the toner pen method because we're not doing that right now, but this is a really good way for you to use Deco Foil is with the Two-Way Glue Pen. We're also going to be using the Martha Stewart bone folder, or just any bone folder. Mine is the Martha Stewart bone folder. It's 4.5 inches long, and it comes with the Martha Stewart scoreboard. I really like the size of this bone folder. Most of the bone folders that you can buy are between 6 and 12 inches long, and that's just too long for me, so I really like my little mini bone folder. You'll also need a pair of scissors to cut down your Deco Foil to size. That way we don't waste. Excuse me. We are also going to be needing a craft surface. Tonight we're going to be using just a good old-fashioned card base, A7 or 5x7, and I buy these in packs of 50 because I'm a card maker, and this package comes with corresponding envelopes, which is really helpful. The last thing that we're going to be using is a foam sheet. You can find these in the kids craft section at Walmart or online at Amazon, but they're really inexpensive. They come in all shapes and sizes. We just need a little half sheet for what we're doing tonight, but the reason that we need to use it is because we're going to be burnishing, which means to press down really hard, and we need a surface with just a little bit of give. I use my plastic craft mat that doesn't have enough give for what we need, so we're going to be using the foam sheet to help us burnish really well. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to set up my crafting surface, and then I'm going to prep my Two-Way Glue Pen. To prep it, all you do is squeeze here on the tube portion of your pen, and then you're going to have to find a happy middle between pressing too hard and pressing too light. If you press too hard with your Two-Way Glue Pen, too much glue comes out, and it ends up taking forever to dry, and it ends up getting really chunky, and it might even spill over onto your sheet, and it just doesn't really have a very clean finish. And then if you don't use enough of the Two-Way Glue Pen, then you are not going to be able to adhere your Deco Foil to your surface, and that also doesn't look good. So I'm just going to go ahead and write a quick sentiment here on my card base, and I will just write "love you." I've been sort of doing that today. And that's because I have some important people in my life that I would love to send some personalized cards to. So we're just going to do that. And then what you want to make sure is that you do not stick your hand in your sentiment and drag it across, because if you do, the glue will then be dragged across your sheet, and the foil will also drag across the sheet when you are adhering it. So you just want to be really careful with that, and I'm just going to go in and kind of clean up my little places that aren't perfect. and I think that looks pretty good. So as you can see, the glue goes on blue. Okay, and as it begins to dry, which you can kind of see here with the E because it's kind of thin, is that it dries clear. Now this is not the most dry, in fact it's not dry at all, and so we're going to set this aside and we will use it when it has dried, but it hasn't dried yet. So we're just going to set it aside and let it dry. But once it does, it will look like this. And as you can see, this this card or this sentiment is done drying, and if you can hear and see, it is still sticky. So that's the two-way part of the glue pen. And so what we're going to do is we're going to grab our foam sheet here and we're going to place it down. We're going to place our card right over the top of that, and then we are going to, if we need to, I use this Deco Foil sheet. I use the other half of it for a different project, and so I actually have a pretty decent size, but if it were way too big I would cut it down. What you do is you just lay the foil down on top, and then I always use my finger to just press it in kind of firmly first, and that's so that the foil doesn't fly all over the place when we burnish. And then you're going to grab your bone folder and you are just going to go over that foil all over the places where you used your Zig Two-Way Glue Pen, and you want to make sure that when you put your foil down that you put it down color side up. If you don't put it color side up, then you are not going to be getting the effect that you want, because the color is on this side of the sheet, and when we peel this away, I'll show you that's what ends up showing. So if you put it on upside down, you're not going to get the effect that you want. So I usually go over and burnish a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times, and that's just so that I can make sure that the foil really does get into all of the nooks and crannies that I would like it to get into. And you really, really, really want to make sure that you let that glue dry, because if you don't, it is not going to come out the way that you want to, and also probably the glue will smear as you are burnishing if it is not fully dry. So get ready for this because it is just beautiful. As you peel away, the foil stays and you are left with the most beautiful embellishment, personalized embellishment on your card. Isn't that fantastic? And they come in so many different colors. It's just the neatest little method and the neatest little product that you can use to make something ordinary extraordinary. So I'll just show you another one that I did earlier tonight. This is something my brother requested. This is the sentiment he requested, and isn't that just so clean and beautiful and shiny? So if you are looking for a way to embellish your cards and you want to make them personalized, this is just one method that I think is a really, really a classy method, and one that you should give a try. So thanks so much for taking time to watch the video. I will see you guys next time.